Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo está ustedes? This is Kaipacha with the weekly Paleo report for Wednesday, July 19th of 2023. And there are so many aspects going on. Oh, por Dios. I don't know how I'm going to squeeze this all into one report. It's amazing. And I'm sure you're feeling the energy. It is intense. It's deep, it's profound, it's transformative. It's hitting different people in different areas, different aspects of their lives, but it's all about transformation these days with Pluto squaring the moon's nodes. I talked about it a little bit last week. I'm going to talk about it more today because, as you can see with the chart at the beginning of the report, it is a grand square. The sun opposite Pluto, squaring the moon's nodes. Cut it out. Sun exactly opposite Pluto, 29 degrees Cancer to 29 degrees Capricorn. Moon's nodes at 29 Aries, 29 Libra. It's just off the charts. And then what? The next day, sun goes into Leo. Ow! And if that's not enough, what else is going on? Black Moon Lilith exactly conjunct Venus as she stations to go retrograde. Okay, that's happening on Saturday, same day as the sun goes into Leo. Black Moon Lilith conjunct Venus stationing. The next day, Sunday, Chiron stations retrograde over there in Aries. Planets are more powerful, very deep when they station. So I'm going to be talking about Venus retrograding today and what that means for us coming up. But in addition to that, what? Tomorrow, Sun trine Neptune. And, I mean, it just goes on and on, man. Mars opposite Saturn. I mean, exact, tomorrow, Thursday. Okay, so, if you feel like you're banging your head against the wall, all right, I'll talk about that a little bit. But besides that, Mercury trine Chiron. And that is exact on Friday. But again, all of these aspects. And then Mercury squares Uranus on Sunday. So it's just like the fun never stops on planet Earth. Man, oh man. Unbelievable. The moon, in the meantime, okay, we had that new moon. So she is heading off. She's in Leo. Tomorrow she goes into Virgo. Saturday into Libra. And then into Scorpio on Tuesday. So, she conjuncts Venus, Mars, opposes Saturn tomorrow, Thursday. Comes into trine Jupiter on Friday. But the main thing is that on Monday, next Tuesday, she comes into a conjunction with the south node of the moon. Squares the sun, squares Pluto. Ay, ay, ay. So on top of that grand square, we are going to have, the moon involved. So, I don't know. I'm just going to find a nice place to sit here, look at the camera, and tell you all about it. All right. Now, where to begin? Where to begin? Where did it all begin? And where is it going? My goodness gracious me. Today we need to really discuss the healing journey involved with the descent into the underworld. I did a whole 2-hour video, webinar on this with my school last weekend. Once again, if you are interested in learning more astrology, I took example charts and I went through this whole journey of basically Inanna. Inanna was the goddess of love and beauty in ancient Sumeria. And she is very much connected to Ishtar, to Venus. And she had a sister, Ereshkigal. Ereshkigal was the goddess of the underworld. And she was ugly, and her hair was all in knots and rats. And so here we have this, it's very interesting to have Venus conjunct Black Moon Lilith. Venus as the beautiful princess, maiden, Aphrodite, light, love, beauty, in the cute white dress. The Cinderella with the glass slippers, okay? And then Black Moon Lilith, or Ereshkigal. In Norse mythology, it was Hela, okay? We have this Kali energy, this, this Eris, the dark feminine. Yeah? This dark feminine energy in union and conjunction, okay, with the light maiden. It's very beautiful, this merging together that we have an opportunity of the light meeting the dark. And where is it happening? It's happening just as Venus goes retrograde for 40 days. And we talked about this 40 days. It is her descent into this underworld, for 40 days and 40 nights. And this 40, through every major monotheistic religion, the number 40 days in the desert. Okay, Jesus went out there, and in Islam, in every religion, there is this whole Lent is 40 days. There's this whole very powerful connection, and it's all based on Venus. All these religions, all these mythologies, all the stories, they all have their origins in tracking the night sky. Let's remember, astrology is the oldest art science on planet Earth. And it is, so many of the myths and stories were just all about explaining the planets. Wandering stars, that's what the planets are. It's just it's a powerful reminder, yes, of the beauty, the glory, the wisdom, the power of astrology and the night sky. And so there's this descent, okay? It deals with the whole synodic cycle of Venus, which is 584 days. And right now you can see her in the evening sky. And she's going to descend lower and lower and lower, closer to the sun, until the sun is so brilliant that you can't see her. And this is what the indigenous people called the underworld. She goes out of sight. We cannot see Venus for 40 days. Well, not exactly, but so she goes into conjunction with the sun. She's in between Earth and the sun. There's an exact lineup. I'll talk about it. It's a couple of a few weeks from now, and then she will rise after that 40-day retrograde period in September 4th or 5th. She rises and begins in the east a new synodic cycle. It's called the heliacal rise. And she's so descending from being the soft, feminine, voluptuous, sensuous, relationship-oriented, heart-opening Venus energy down into the underworld to rise up in the east, which is the Aryan warrior, powerful goddess that charges and goes forward. So there is this transformation. And it is of, whether you're a man or a woman or an LGBTQ, I don't care. We all have Venus. We all have a feminine nature, a feminine side. Whether it's your anima or animus, depending on your gender, it doesn't matter. We are all going through a descent. And what is that descent? That descent has to do with Venus, the brash, youthful, goddess of love and beauty. In ancient Sumeria, Inanna says, I'm going to go down into the underworld. I'm going to visit my sister. There's a wedding down there. And she leaves Dumuzi, in charge of heaven, and she takes off, even though she's kind of defying the gods, because no one returns from the underworld. But she's all full of herself, and she's like, come on, I'm hot stuff, baby. I can't help thinking of Madonna. I think she's got some Leo energy. Anyway, and this is happening in Leo, but we'll talk about it. She goes down through the 7 gates. These 7 gates are like 227 days or so, where she is 7 lunar moon conjunctions to Venus. 7 gates. In the first gate, the 7 chakras. She lets go of her crown, right? And then she lets go of her necklaces. Then she lets go of her jewelry. Then she lets go, of her gowns. Anyway, each gate, it's a humbling, submitting, lowering, exposing, letting go of all the earthly, material, money, finances, subscribers, followers, position, children, husband, wife, house, car, family, title, it's just stripping down to our raw, naked, human self, our primal truth. And she gets hung on a meat hook by Ereshkigal, her sister. She says, you're dead. You're dead. And it was only through trickery, yes, that there were actually, some spirits that changed themselves, and so they were like flies that could get through these gates. And they came down and they tricked Ereshkigal into releasing, yes, Inanna. And she rose up. I don't have time to go into the whole mythology. I think I do in a video that's in my school library, but she rises back up through the 7 gates again. 7 lunar conjunctions, as she is an evening star. And she matures. She comes back as the queen of heaven. From being the young, brash, teenage idol, she comes back. And of course, Dumuzi, while she was gone, he tried to take over heaven. He said, she'll never be back. Well, she straightened him out. Yeah. So there is this maturing process that goes on through humbling, through accepting our role. And this is all happening now in the sign of Leo. From 28 degrees, she retrogrades back to 12 and comes all the way back and doesn't go into Virgo until September. This is a time of being out in the desert. This is a time of meditating, contemplating, reflecting, rebelling, revolting, remodeling, remembering, rejuvenating. Go into all, of the re's. And really contemplate deep down your values. What is of value? What is the most valuable? These values create our beliefs, our aspirations, our goals, our definitions of success and failure, of course, our relationships, our possessions, what we spend our money on, what we save our money for, why we work for money in the first place. So above and beyond survival, which, Taurus and Venus do have to do with survival, they have to do, with our values and our money. And this can be a time of loss. This can be a time of economic downturn. Inflation goes up, things go out of reach. We wonder, where's our income? Where is our, where's the love of my life? Where's my beloved? Where's my partner? What's going on in my relationship? This is a huge time to be completely transforming everything that has to do, with love, money, sex, and values. And it is a time, like I say, we have to go inward. We have to love ourselves before we can love or be loved, before we can receive money, compensation, adoration. It's an inward journey. And this inward journey has to do with healing. So I want to talk about this Chiron stationing retrograde in Aries, the sign of Mars, from June 6th to 9/11. Chiron sits exactly at the 20th degree of Aries. And this is where our healing journey can really take us right now. This is where this Venus descent into the underworld. What is the underworld? It's the hero's journey down into our deepest root chakra, facing our deepest fears, owning and taking responsibility for ourselves, our lives, what we have created. Let's remember, this Venus is in Leo. What have I created for myself? What have I not created for myself? Stop blaming anybody. Stop blaming the parents, your past life karma, your society, the world health, the world economics, the the governor, the mayor, the spouse, the father. No. We are the creators of our realities, with our thoughts, with our fears, with our desires, and we are on an evolutionary journey of growth. That's what this mantra is about. It is about our conscious ego submitting and humbling itself to the unconscious soul that incarnates lifetime after lifetime after lifetime and is as old as Methuselah. And we've just got these little egos that are just, living in separation, living in this third dimension. I look at the ego as the captain of the ship. And just, think of, some private yacht, of, what's his face, Musk, or, some zillionaire or whatever. They have their yachts. And the captain is in charge. The ego is in charge of maintaining, of steering, of navigating, of ordering, of structuring, of the whole crew. of making sure, right, that boat goes, what? Where the owner wants it. So the owner is the master. Yeah? So the owner comes onto his yacht and he says, Captain, off to Morocco. And so, you know, it's the ego is very important. The captain is very important. Okay? The soul is not going to, you know, have an earthly experience without an ego. But do not mutiny. Don't let your ego take control of your life. Don't let your conscious, superficial, linear, logical, limited reality be a substitute or not follow the orders of the soul. Because that's where Pluto is the soul. Pluto is square the nodes, right? And so this is a time where if you are out of alignment, if your ego is trying to take over, guess what? This is major adjustment time. And if you're losing something, if you're hitting your head against the wall, if you're in fear, insecurity, doubt, rage, anger, if you experience all these negative emotions, south node of the moon exiting out of Scorpio, okay, this is time to really own it, take responsibility for it, and change it. Because what? After the death, there's a resurrection. And this resurrection is in Leo. Your authentic, special, unique legacy that you are here to leave, that you are here to create with fun, with pleasure, with passion, with desire, with an open heart. So I encourage you, just like Inanna, let go of what you had, knowing that on the other side, it's all coming back in a new way, in a more beautiful, powerful, authentic, honest, amazing you. This is a death and rebirth of you, and you are amazing. You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. Now, I want to read to you the degree symbol for, boom, Chiron at the 20th degree, stations at 19 degrees 57 minutes. That's why it's taking him so long, right? Because he's going 57 minutes into that degree and then turning around and going 57 minutes back. But he's hanging on to that 20th degree. And what's the symbol that Elsie Wheeler found? It's a young girl feeding birds in the winter. Overcoming crisis through compassion. Nature's seasonal rhythms imply an oscillation between living and dying. Through creative imagination, the birds, right? We can fly over the cycle and discover means not only to escape the fatalities of seasonal decay and deprivation, but to assist other living entities to survive through crisis. Migrating birds fly south, but by establishing a partnership with other creatures unable to escape wintry deprivation or death, we can maintain the life of the spirit, symbolized by the birds. We can maintain that life of the spirit steady through all crisis. If, like a young girl, we are widely open to the promptings of love and spirit and sympathy. God, I could go on for this about it. This is just like so big. Sympathy, love. This is what makes us human. I just watched this whole thing by Greg Braden on transhumanism. I'll put the link for it down below. He talks about the divinity of man as being that aspect and that part of us that can become more than what we are. We can become more than what we are. But first we have to understand and plummet to the depths of just what the hell we are before we can engineer a new version of ourselves. Make this 40 days of Venus in the underworld. I encourage you to light a candle, keep it lit on your altar as a reminder, yes, of the flame of unity, oneness, light, and illumination. Seeking illumination, we can humble ourselves and find our true soul destiny. So this week's mantra, and it may be more than just a week if you do so choose and desire. Whether things go right or wrong. You get it? Right or wrong? That's left brain, linear, logical, black and white, plus and minus, ego, conscious. It's either right or it's wrong. I either make money or lose money. I'm either, in a single or, in this relationship. Or it's either or, right? Whether things go right or wrong. It helps if I remember that my ego is here to learn and serve. It's unconscious soul, spirit, master. And here I just want to lay in one last reminder. We are 90% unconscious. We use less than 10% of the mass of our brain consciously. This ego consciousness is the tip of the iceberg. Our soul is our truth. And it is unconscious. Do not egotistically think, assume, or take for granted that, I know my soul. Oh, I'm in touch with my soul. Yeah, I'm a real, I'm enlightened. I've done a bunch of plant medicine or whatever. I'm a guru. Bullshit. You are not here in a physical body, okay, with a little tiny ego, right, that is conscious, okay, of your totality. I mean, I think I know of like maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4. I could count on one hand the number of people that I really feel are enlightened to the point of totally getting their soul reality. So let's not pretend. Let's not fool ourselves. Let's let the part of this descent into the underworld is letting go of self delusions of grandeur. and letting go of the illusions that we know what the bleep is going on around here, baby. You know, it's like, face it, we don't. You don't know the future, man. Any astrologer or anybody who starts laying out the future for you, guess what? They're off. Because they're only projecting the present into the future. We're only given the transits. We're only given what is, and we can, from that, I mean, you got a 50-50 chance. I mean, there is a lot that you can, you know. So if there was no free will, if there was no conscious choice, okay, yeah, you'd have a chance at predicting the future, but really, not. Yeah, we don't. I've got some ideas. I mean, I want to do a webinar. I think I will be doing a webinar on what I think is, you know, coming. But that's going to be later on. I have to do this descent. Anyway, enough about the future. Oh, well, speaking of the future, you got to come to one of my workshops, man. I'm doing workshops all over the place, and it is reality. Okay, it's not virtual. It's not these online webinars and blah, 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 blah. There's nothing like human vibration, auric fields merging, etheric bodies uniting, physical bodies touching, hearts opening, live in reality. So let's do some astrology, some gong, some dolphins, some chanting, some kundalini yoga together, and that is where you feel. It's not an abstract concept. It is a reality that we can tap into. I'll put the link for my coming up events. I'm going all over the place. I hope to see you. I hope to connect. I hope you fare well. Many blessings on your journey. One more time, whether things go right or wrong, it's helpful to remember that my ego is here to learn and serve. It's unconscious, soul, spirit, master. Ow! Yeah, baby. I know you know what I'm talking about. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.